everyone, Jackie here with Enjoying Life's Journey. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another Paycheck to Paycheck budget with me. We're going to be budgeting out my husband's paycheck for May 17th. He gets paid every single Friday, so we have a new budget for every single week, every single paycheck, as well as the month. So we're gonna take a look at this week. We're gonna make any adjustments based on what we originally budgeted because now we officially have the paycheck, and then we're gonna budget out next week because we know how many hours my husband has worked, so we can kind of project out and get an idea of what next week will look like. So let's jump on the Excel sheet and get to it. Alright, so if you guys followed along last week, we budgeted out the 17th, so we're going to take a look at my husband's pay stub and see if these numbers are correct and see if anything needs to be changed. So I can see here my husband's overtime was 8 hours. It was the 231.04, and so that's what it was. I'm going to make this black because that was the actual amount. So when we're planning ahead, we budget out, I use red, and then once that number is official, we use black. So I'm going to take a look at my calendar real quick and see for the 24th if my husband did have any overtime. We thought they were getting rid of overtime completely, but as you can see, he still had some, and he said that things are starting to pick up again. We do leave for the cruise next week, so I want to make sure that the mortgage is paid for, that basically everything is in the account ready for the automatic withdrawal at the beginning of the month, because we won't quite be back to the house, and I don't want to deal with having to transfer money into different accounts and all of that. So I'm going to take a look at the calendar real quick. So it actually looks like he had some 10-hour days, 3 10-hour days, and then he had 8, 2, 3, 54. Is that right? Nope. 46. Okay. So he did work a Saturday, but that's going to be on the 31st. So it looks like he actually has 46. He's going to have 46 hours next week. So we'll minus this normal 40. So he's going to have 6 hours of overtime, which is actually going to be so 173, and then this would be 770. Okay. So now we know more of what my husband's dealing with for next week. And then this was his base pay of 770. For this paycheck. So let's go down and see what actually came out. So his 401k was the 9009, which is what we calculated. So that's black because it's already it's automatically transferred to this 401k account. Let's look at federal and see what we got. We had put the same as the third because you can see the overtime on the third was the same. So let's see if it was the same. So federal was actually 379. So that was actually $1 less than I thought. So this was 1640. So, I know why it's lower. I'm going to talk about that. All right, I'll make these black because these are officially done. Now, the reason federal and state were a little bit less, if we look at the difference here on the third, we had only done 8% to the 401k, and now we did 9% to the 401k. So this lowers his taxable income when it comes to federal and state. So that's why those were a little bit lower than the last time. So that's really cool to see. Okay, so now if you notice on the 24th, this is automatically populating. So the 9% of his income is already populating. Now we need to enter in what I'm going to be making next week. So my self-employment budget is right on the side here, and I can see I'm actually going to be doing $366.87. So I'm going to add that in, $366.87 for next week. Interest, we're not sure what that is yet. And then savings, we're going to start taking the money out for the cruise vacation. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in here for what we have in the sinking fund. So in the savings here, if I scroll on down to our vacation, we have $1367.40. So we're going to end up transferring that out of savings, $1367.40, because we're going to be using that out of savings, and that goes directly into the vacation fund right here. Now, if we don't spend it all, great, we'll see. All right, so coming down the 17th, let's finish out what we thought was going to be. So 10% of my husband's income before taxes is going to be $110. That's transferred to the emergency fund, and so I made it black because that's in a savings account. We want to pretend that we don't have that money, so we're going to kind of put it black, so we're telling our brain we don't have it. Now for taxes, This paycheck here, like, he is going to have a little less overtime, but I'm going to go ahead and just plug in the same numbers as the first one, because if I over budget, then that's better than under budgeting. Coming on down. Now we did end up using another $32.92 for giving. Basically, he actually, if you guys saw, I posted a picture. He built me a garden bed in the front. Now the bricks we did get for free from our neighbor, but he bought some more soil and stuff so I could transplant. I had tomato plants already in like little buckets, so we transplanted those. I had those since fall, since like October of last year. So that's that. Now, the next thing we got to look on the pay stub for is the family life insurance and the long-term disability. So we have here, if we add the child life insurance to the dependent life insurance, and then the supplement, that's still the $590, and then the long-term disability was $360. So again, these are based on, the long-term disability is based on his income. And like I mentioned, because we took more out of the 401k, so we took more money out before taxes, it lowered some of those other expenses. So instead of being the 416, it was only 360. So awesome sauce. All right, so we do have now, we have the 190 for the extra principal payment. We are going to come back to the mortgage payment and see if we have anything left. So I'm going to scroll on down. We finished out basically our 450. We finished out that, so that was 253.16. So we're gonna make that orange. So we have $1.74 that we can actually add to this mortgage. So I'm gonna delete it, and then I'm gonna look on the bottom. It's gonna tell me I have $228.77. So $228.77. I've told every dollar where to go. So the last thing we have to do is for next week's paycheck, we have this $942. First thing we need to do is finish out going down the line here. So we have the family life insurance, and then again, we're just going to put the long-term disability the same as the week before. And then we need to finish out the mortgage. So let's get the calculator out. We have our mortgage 128.98 minus the 228.77 we already have aside. So we need $900.21. That's going to finish out our mortgage payment, so I'll make that red. And then we're going to scroll down and see what we have left. So $33.04. So if you saw the 10%, this is 10% of mine and my husband's money combined is automatically calculated for our emergency fund right there. And then 15% of my money is automatically calculated right here, and that will be added to the extra principal mortgage. So the little bit of money that we have left is actually going to go now. We're going to start putting some money into our dream fund. We're going to start trying to get some work done in the backyard. So I have a friend, she owns her own landscape design business. She came out and designed our whole backyard on paper for me, and she gave me a breakdown of what everything was going to cost. So I kind of broke it up into two things, and I was like, well, let's do, half of it this year and half of it next year. That way we can cash flow it. So this year we're kind of just starting with the cement for the patio and the walkways, and then next year we're going to add in the trees and the mulch and the fake grass and all of that stuff. So we have some stuff. I'll share that with you as we get to it, but basically that's going to go, that $33.04, it will be there. Okay, so that's for next week. So now when we go on our cruise, all of the money for the mortgage and any of the bills that come out like on the 1st will already be in the necessities account, so we don't have to even worry about transferring any money. That last paycheck will basically cover adding to the emergency fund and the dream fund. So basically this last paycheck will basically be all savings. All of the bills are already paid for the month of May. So that is pretty cool. I really do hope that you guys get something out of these videos. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye. So now you guys can see I have 0. So I've told every dollar, no, come on, hurry up. Jeez.